Like to call to order the Belton Planning Commission meeting for March 7th, 2022. Could we have the roll call, please?
Chairman McPherson,
Here.
Mayor Larkey,
Here.
Councilmember Powell,
Here.
Commissioner McDonough, Commissioner Monahan Bass, Commissioner Best,
Here.
Commissioner Christie,
Here.
Commissioner Anderson, here, and Commissioner Pryan.
Here.
Thank you. First item we have on our agenda this evening would be for the approval of the minutes of our February 7th, and that should be 2022. We're not approving last year's minutes, but that should be 2022 for the Planning Commission. Just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that we had the right thing on there if you're looking at the agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes of the February 7th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Is there a second?
I second.
All right, thank you.
I sent in some amendments to Madison earlier today.
You did, okay.
Copied you guys
Okay.
too. But anyway, so maybe they could be as amended if you, I mean, I didn't change anything, I just added,
Okay, do you have those that you could,
forward them to you? Or, I mean, they're all.
I mean,
electronic.
I can get it, or if you would want to just let everyone on the commission know what those
Oh,
were.
okay. Well, back last summer, we, Mayor Larkey and myself both made some comments, and in the minutes, and this is nothing against who's taking the minutes, but they get abbreviated. But then when you want to go back and say, well, what about this, what about this, then it's not clear what you really asked for. So then you got to fiddle through the video and everything. Anyway, I was advised that if I really want it to be something that I want to follow up on, I need to have almost every single word that I wanted, and that's not fair to the person taking the minutes. So I wrote down what I said at the last meeting about what do they call, express oil change and tire engineers, and also what I said about when I made a statement about what the council and the city had responded to on our what was it? I think it was our September 28th meeting. We had this group had recommended some stuff, and the council had turned it down or voted not to. They didn't even vote. They just said we're not going to do that. So so in other words, I had two longer statements than just Rob Powell made some comments.
Okay.
So I just expanded on those two items. You'll see in the minutes it says two things about my commenting on the oil change place and also commenting on back about city council issues. And they don't have to be put into the minutes. They could be amendments, but I want them somehow so that we, a year from now, people can look back and say, maybe what an idiot he is or something. I don't know what they'll say, but anyway, I want them to be on the record.
Okay.
So I didn't print them out. I can, I guess, if you want them printed out. But
I didn't know if you had those just that
I can
we
read
could
them off to
have
you.
read into the minutes, if
Well-
you want to do it that way, or you said you sent those on over to Madison earlier. Is that
Right,
correct? Okay.
right. I sent two Word documents, one to
we have those.
You've
We
got
can
those.
just add them.
Okay, yeah, we'll just add those in if that's agreeable with the commission, that we add the amendment to the minutes from
right.
our Commissioner Powell.
Right.
I have a quick question. You mentioned something about last summer,
Yes.
and then we're talking about the minutes from February 7th.
Okay.
I'm confused.
In last summer, we did a lot of stuff on the caliber collision.
Okay.
And I asked some detailed questions. Norman asked for a traffic survey study. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but something like that. Anyway, in the notes, it just said, the commission asked for a study and Rob Powell asked a couple questions.
Oh, I see.
So-
And that needs to
So,
be
so
clarified.
then, when I went back, a couple of months later and tried to explain this to the city council, and to staff, they said, well, it's not in the minutes, so it's hard to reference all that. So we had several months where we didn't have a planning commission meeting, so then in September when we did, actually, just recently, at the last meeting here, I read into the minutes here, or I said, this is what the council did in response to our comments on caliber collision. And so I wanted to get that into
Right.
at least that in. I missed the boat on
Okay.
last summer, but my most recent ones from February 7th.
Okay.
And from this point on, and it's just not me, anybody, if you think you say something important, you want to make sure it gets into the minutes, that's all.
Okay.
And so if I understand, Councilman, what we're talking about would be where it says Councilman Powell gave a city council liaison
Right.
report,
Right.
but we would give more detail there
Yeah,
as to what you're,
You,
and that's where we would insert
Yeah.
the information.
right, or you could see.
Just so everyone is clear. on
Right, or
that.
you could say,
Yeah.
you could just say, see attachment 1 and attach the Word document to it.
Okay.
But I'm not changing the way the meeting flowed, I'm just
Okay,
putting down my words.
so that would be as an amendment to or a correction to the minutes, as I see it, or an addendum to that, so. Mayor, is that approved
Okay with
by
that.
you? Okay. And our second, I'm not sure, I heard a couple of seconds, I'm not sure who we officially got, but would.
I'll second it.
Okay. So, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as amended with Councilman Powell's comments to be added in. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. We do have several items that are part of a
Hold
non,
on,
or I'm sorry?
was that just to amend the motion? Now do we have to approve the motion? That should have.
That should have been for the
just to
amendment. Okay,
Amend
and
the
then
motion, now we need to approve the
amended.
motion as amended.
For the amended minutes. Thank you, Mayor. So, once again, any comments on the amended minutes? If not, then we do have the motion and second on approving those already before us. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
Can I ask you a quick question here?
Sure.
While we're on this subject. It would have been a lot easier, first of all, if I'd figured this out before this afternoon, so I apologize. But the second thing is, I didn't send it to everybody because in the council, they say you can't send it to everybody because of sunshine laws. Is that, sunshine laws still apply here? I mean, would it help if I sent it to everybody
You
here?
can send it to everybody, just you can't, nobody should respond all. Now, they can respond and talk to you
Okay.
personally, but they can't. And
Respond
I'm not
all.
saying they can't, it's just if they do, all that has to be put into the record.
Okay,
It's not against the law, it's just it has to be put into the record
okay,
if you do it,
all right. So
so.
if I do this in the future, I will send it out earlier and to everybody, so I'm not catching you unawares.
All right. Thank you for the clarification on that as well, Mayor. All right. So moving on then, we do have several non-public hearing items this evening before us. The first item would be consideration of an amendment to the final development plan to permit the development of a Chase Bank facility as part of a development plan with Take 5 Oil Change located at 111 South Mullen Road. Director?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you stated in your introduction, this is an amendment to an existing final development plan to permit the development of a Chase banking facility. This application is filed to an amendment of a final development plan approved by the Planning Commission on November 8th of 2021. That final development plan from last fall approved the construction of a Take 5 oil change facility and a 151 Coffee, a drive-through express coffee shop. At this time, 151 Coffee will not be proceeding with construction at the site, and the owner has secured Chase Bank as a development alternative. The proposed Chase Bank is a 3,459 square foot building with a lobby and a drive-through ATM. I have the site and landscape plan on the overhead. The point of access is the same for both users as was on the plan from last fall. The plan does function and flow a little bit better with the drive-through coffee shop. There was a lot of pavement markings and wayfaring signs that created a little confusion on site. This is just much easier, much more direct for drive-through customers for the Chase Bank, looping around here to the ATM here, and then parking in front of the lobby. Customers for the oil change facility would come in, take a right, and it's a sit-in oil change facility, so customers just stay in their cars, you might recall, and exit and leave. The Take 5 oil change was a 3-bay, 1,078 square foot building. The company, as the staff report notes, specializes in drive-through oil change facilities, changes where customers stay. Property is zoned in C2 General Commercial District. The banking facility as proposed and the drive-through oil change are permitted uses in the zoning district, and there are certain conditions pertaining to drive-through facilities and vehicle stacking, and both of these plans do meet those parking requirements and drive-through facilities. Proposed site is a 9.6 acre parcel at the southeast corner of Mullen and North Avenue. The Planning Commission might remember that the Magic Wand Car Wash had been at this location, and it has recently been demolished to make way for this final development plan. The plan as revised does meet all C2 General Commercial District requirements as to parking, vehicle stacking. It exceeds all the required yards and setbacks. The maximum building height is within guidelines, as is the maximum building coverage. Always important is the amount of open space on the parcel. The code requires a 20% open space, and the site does provide 34% open space. Here's the Take 5 oil change, the Chase Bank. The UDC requires all commercial buildings to have 50% masonry on all front and side elevations, with articulation and offsets to add architectural detail. So inasmuch as this final development plan is for both buildings, there's some common materials and colors on both buildings, and those materials are stone veneer and cement fiberboard siding. I'm fishing here for my Chase Bank elevation. I'm going to go back the other way. There we go. Don't have the colored in, but the bank does meet all the UDC requirements. A lot of transparent windows on 2 elevations, and a variety of materials on the end caps, differentiating from the main elevation. Landscape plan I showed does provide all the required landscaping, has street trees, parking lot landscaping, and shade trees. Utility plan has been reviewed by Public Works. It was reviewed with the original plan last November. Nothing's really changed. And with that, staff would conclude and recommend approval of the plan. And it's my opinion, I think the Chase Bank sits and looks a little nicer at that prominent intersection, more so than a drive-through coffee shop. So we're very pleased with this change in the final development plan. And as I state, we do recommend approval. And the applicant is present this evening for comments and questions.
Okay. I'd like to invite you to, if you would, first give your name and for our record,
Yep.
and any comments you might have for us.
My name's Hank Hopkins. Thank you, Mr. Clements, for your comments and review. As you mentioned, I feel like the Chase Bank is a nice addition to our development. We're the owner-operator of the Take 5 oil change, and I feel like the improvement of the intersection or of the property has already begun with the demolition of the Magic Wand Car Wash to make way for our project. So happy to answer any questions and excited to move forward.
All right. there any questions for the applicant or for the director?
Question,
Commissioner?
could you show the employee parking for the oil change place? I didn't see that.
Sure, it's on the south parcel. There we go. There's these spaces here.
Oh, I see, they're over
Yeah.
on that side.
On the- Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right. Any other questions or comments? I would just comment that yesterday I was driving around in another community and just happened to see a Chase Bank sitting there. And from the looks of these plans, it looks very similar to what that facility looked like. And it caught my attention, first of all, because I knew that they were coming, before us tonight, but it was a very nice-looking building, and I totally agree. I think it would be a great addition, especially sitting on that corner, which is such a prominent corner, with a lot of traffic going through there, so. All right. Councilman?
I just had, I see that it says 24 feet for the width of the driveway. Is that sufficient for the fire engine entrances and exits, since there's only one entrance and exit?
We have the fire marshal here to answer that tonight, so we will
Yeah,
just ask.
as a matter of staff review, the plan gets reviewed by planning, public works, fire marshal, and everybody looks at it, and I'm sure the fire marshal can add some specifics to that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be at least 20 feet to
Okay.
fit our fire apparatus, so
Okay.
it meets that.
Okay, because I see once if, God forbid, there was a fire, I see after they have the 24-foot entrance, then there's, it narrows down to 21, I can't really make it out, but 21 feet if there are cars parked further into the site. But again, that should be sufficient if it's 20 feet as the,
Okay.
okay, thanks.
All right, thank you, Councilman. Any other comments or questions? Or
Mr. Chair, I
motions?
make a motion to amend the final development plan to permit the development of a Chase Bank facility as part of the development plan with Take 5 Oil Change located at 11 South Mullen Road, as presented.
All right, thank you, Mayor, for that motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Any final comments, questions? If not, could we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Best?
Aye.
Commissioner Pryan?
Aye.
Commissioner Anderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Christie?
Aye.
Councilman Powell?
Aye.
Mayor Larkey?
Aye.
And Commissioner McPherson?
Aye. And Mr. Hopkins, thank you for not only caring to bring the business to us, but to make the change and the improvement that you have brought before us tonight. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for your review and
Look forward to having you here in town.
for the work with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, moving on to our second item under the public hearings. Item B is consideration of a lot split of Lot 1, Block 1 in Dean Company Development Park, located at 111 South Mullen Road. Director?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The purpose of this lot split is to provide individual development lots for Chase Bank and Take 5 Oil Change. The property is presently a 0.96 acre lot that had been improved with that self-service car wash. Lot A1 provides for, right here, the 0.57 acre parcel for Chase Bank. And parcel A2 is 0.39 acre site for Take 5 Oil Change. And the purpose of this lot split is just to create the buildable lots so they can be conveyed to those individual users and permits issued for those specific lot numbers. So accordingly, the staff does recommend approval.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions, comments for the director? or is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the lot split of Lot 1, Block 1 in Dean Code Development Park located at 111 South Mullen Road as presented.
All right, thank you, Mayor.
I second.
And Commissioner Ryan, thank you for the second. Any final comments? Seeing none, may we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Vest,
Aye.
Commissioner Pryan,
Aye.
Commissioner Anderson. Aye. Commissioner Christie,
Aye.
Councilman Powell,
Aye.
Mayor Larkey,
Yes.
and Chairman McPherson.
Aye. All right, thank you. That motion passes. Item C for our hearings this evening, consideration of a final plat for Autumn Ridge, 4th plat, located on the west side of South Mullen Road, west of existing Sycamore Drive. And Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you stated, this is an application for a final plat for the Autumn Ridge subdivision, the 4th plat there. The Phase 1 was originally approved in 2005. Phase 2 was approved in 2006. And the 3rd plat was approved by the Planning Commission in March 2020. This is the location of the 4th plat. The 3rd plat that was just approved in 2020 is right here. And there is sufficient land area to the west for a 5th plat that was designated in the preliminary plat. So we will see one additional phase of Autumn Ridge coming forward at some point in the future. This 4th plat before you this evening provides for 39 single-family lots. Stormwater management for this 4th plat is provided in a detention basin at this location, so it's actually off premise for the 4th plat, but it is an area-wide detention basin. And there are some neighborhood amenities and a pocket park here in the 3rd plat. The Planning Commission may remember the discussions about that neighborhood park that was done with that 3rd plat. Access to the 4th plat is from Sycamore Drive, extended from Mullen Road. It's an 80-foot right-of-way that goes all the way through the subdivision, and this will eventually connect up to Emerson Park and provide a very important a link between those subdivisions to Mullen Road. Sidewalks will be constructed on both sides of the street. The lot sizes do meet the R1 requirements. Lot sizes for the cul-de-sac lots far exceed the minimum standards. Those are very nice, desirable lots. And the cul-de-sac and the road right-of-ways meet the required dimensions and standards of the Unified Development Code. So accordingly, the staff would recommend approval of the 4th plat. It's consistent with other phases in Autumn Ridge subdivision, and it does meet all the requirements of our Unified Development Code. And the applicant's present this evening for some comments and any questions the Planning Commission may have.
All right. Thank you, Director. And we would invite the applicant, if there's anything you'd like to add.
Good evening. My name is Brian Ron. I'm with Ward Development, Autumn Ridge Homes from 1000 Northwest High Point Drive, Lee Summit. And the only thing I'd add this evening is thank you very much for your consideration of the project. The previous phase has just been completed with the infrastructure, and we're excited that we're just right now starting those homes, and it is our intention to move forward with that 5th phase immediately. You know, there's a lot of desire for people to move and live in the city of Belton, and you know, there's definitely a need for these homes. So we're excited about that, and look forward to moving forward with that project.
All right, thank you. Ask the council or commission, is there any questions, comments that you have for either the director or for the applicant? Councilman.
Do you think you'll have a connection between Sycamore and Catron before you go to Plat 5 or Phase 5 or whatever, or do you think that'll?
Actually, I would have to look at the preliminary plat, but that is the connection through to the other neighborhood. I believe that exists in the preliminary plat. I don't have that in front of me.
The preliminary plat is, what's that? This plat here?
This is the final plat.
Okay.
It's designed to comply with the preliminary plat, and that fifth plat, the fifth phase does show Sycamore connecting to Emerson Park, but they would not construct that until the fifth plat is recorded.
Yeah, okay, that's my question.
And that would be the project that we'll be bringing in very, very soon.
Okay. And I guess this is more a question for Dave. In the write-up, it says, you talk about Sycamore and how it's a neighborhood collector. And then right in the next paragraph, it says sidewalks will be constructed on both sides of the street. You're not just referring to Sycamore, you're referring to the whole.
Oh, yeah, all stretch,
thing.
yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any additional questions or comments?
I make a motion, we approve the final plat for Autumn Ridge, fourth plat located on the west side of South Mullen Road, west of existing Sycamore Drive, as presented.
Thank you, Mayor. We do have a motion. Is there a second?
Second?
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Vest. Any final questions or comments? Seeing none, may we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Vest,
Aye.
Commissioner Pryan,
Aye.
Commissioner Anderson. Aye. Commissioner Christie,
Aye.
Councilman Powell,
Aye.
Mayor Larkey,
Yes.
and Chairman McPherson.
Aye. So thank you. The motion has passed. That concludes the non-public hearings that we had on the agenda for this evening and brings us to other business, which is the approval of the 2022-2023 Planning Commission and Development Review Schedule. Director?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the Planning Commission activity schedule for the upcoming year. We always like to bring it to the Planning Commission before we post it live on the website. We think it's a helpful tool for the Planning Commission members to kind of have, so you can kind of program those dates on your calendar as the year begins to unwind. And so with approval this evening of the schedule, we'll kind of kick it into action and begin accepting applications for this new schedule. One thing I thought I would mention, just kind of as something to think about, is when Planning Commission meets on Mondays, and we do have a number of Monday holidays. Recently we had Juneteenth added as another Monday holiday, and those Monday holidays kind of create havoc with the schedule, preparing things and kind of working around those holidays as they occur throughout the year. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we can do that, but we lose the opportunity to have some Planning Commission meetings. So I just thought I would mention, perhaps the Planning Commission might want to think about potentially moving a meeting to a Thursday just to avoid any conflicts with those Monday holidays. So it's just something to think about. Maybe we can talk about it in more detail at the next meeting. I'm kind of springing this on the mayor, but it's just a preliminary thought on our part as we would put this schedule together. So, if you'd like to pursue that conversation, we can talk about doing that, and it wouldn't necessarily have to be done this year. It could be rolled into the work next year. So, just something to think about in terms of better customer service to our stakeholders.
Okay. Thank you, Director. So I think this is pretty clear. I think it pretty much follows the same direction that we have gone in previous years. And whether or not we would make an amendment at some point to possibly look at changing the evening. At this point, I think we probably should go ahead and act on what we have, and then that could be something that could be discussed at a later time, as the director said. So any...
I don't have an issue with moving it to Thursday. My only thing on Thursday would be to move it to either the first and third Thursday of each month instead of the second and fourth.
And again, I think if I recall the scheduling, we typically try and keep that the week ahead of the city council meetings so that they don't fall on the same week. Plus, there's time in between for the relaying of information from us to the council so that they have proper time to look at that as well. So, at this point, I would say it is something that we could either do at this time as we're accepting this, it hasn't been published yet, or something that we could come back and review at a later time, whatever the privilege of the commission would be at this point. I do appreciate your input, Mayor, on that.
I guess I'd like to add to that. I'm fairly certain that the Monday schedule is in the Unified Development Code, so we'd have to amend the code and to create a Thursday meeting date. So that's another process. So
It is going to take a little while
yeah,
before we could.
So we've got some
could do
time on
that.
it.
So we can approve it as it is and always come back and
Yeah.
amend and make the change at a later time. Any other discussion?
I had a question, just for my own information. What, does the Development Review Committee happen before all this? Is that where it usually happens?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And you can take a look at that schedule, Mr. Powell, and you can kind of see all the milestones that we hit with applications. I think it's a very good tool. It shows the level of customer service we have when we send comments out on an application, and then the applicant has to perform and get us revisions back by a certain date to keep things tracking through. Mr. Hopkins can talk about the process he went through and how it's pretty programmable and pretty easy to understand, and it builds certainty into the development review process.
Sure.
And that's what people want. They want certainty. They want to know when things are going to be handled so they can do their process and financing and construction.
Okay.
So is it possible, yeah, I just thought of this, but I know that we have a lot of people that watch online. Is it possible that we could put a copy of this online now so that it would be a part of our meeting?
Sure.
I see we've got the
You mean
the agenda up there, but I didn't know if we had this available. It's
Yeah,
going to be
it's
small. It
back
may be
to
very
back.
difficult for people to read, but, you know, I know a lot of people like to see, and until you actually get in here and see what a process is involved to get something before the Planning Commission, it's not something to just walk in, you know, on Monday afternoon and say, hey, I'd like to bring this to the commission.
right.
We've got a whole entire process that they have to go through.
And it's
And-
here.
And thought our citizens might enjoy the ability to at least see that if we could.
Last page, Dave.
I'm trying.
Control N.
There we go.
There we go.
Thank you.
So,
Would you like me just to do a quick cliff notes on this? I mean, it just take a minute to kind of, since you mentioned that, Mr. McPherson.
I think it would be
So-
good because I think for our citizens that it would be something
Yeah.
they would be interested in.
Well, just briefly, the left-hand side is a schedule of the alphabet, and things are filed by a certain schedule. For example, Schedule A, this date is, if you file an application on December 16th, if you file an application on that December 16th, then the staff obligates ourselves to send you comments back by December 30th. So you get you get an initial evaluation of your project by December 30th, and then we'll have a meeting on January 5th where you can come in to our Development Review Committee meeting and talk about those comments and understand the changes that were being requested. And then the applicant then has until the 21st in January to revise the plan and resubmit that. And that's the point where we say go for the Planning Commission. And then we also build in, you know, with rezonings and special uses, there's a statutory requirement for notice in the newspaper and letters to surrounding property owners. So that's built into the schedule. That's kind of there so staff doesn't miss those deadlines as we process this. And then there's just a schedule for those things to occur, and then the date that the Planning Commission, or the staff report's prepared, and then on to the Planning Commission in that purple column. Then we also carry over the City Council dates, so if you have a rezoning or special use, you can see exactly what those two readings of the City Council are. So it programs pretty nicely, and again, it's designed to provide certainty for our developers coming through the process so they know exactly what the steps are and how long it takes.
Great information. Thank you, Director. So what would be your pleasure on this? Would there be a motion to approve this schedule with the idea that we could always come back at a later time and revise?
Either way, excuse me, either way, or wait on, see what day we want to change
Sure.
meeting to. We could do it all at once, either way.
Do it
Yeah.
at that time.
Well, perhaps, maybe this suggestion, why don't I go back and look at the process, talk with the city attorney, and just make sure I'm not missing anything. I think we just need to amend the Unified Development Code, but perhaps I can have a report for you at the next meeting, and we can,
Great.
go from there a little bit more.
Okay. So not something we have to act on this
No.
evening? Okay.
I mean, the reason you brought this up was because of potential holidays that happen on the meeting days. How many of those meetings fall on a holiday?
Well, there's a footnote down here in the bottom that we've modified the schedule, so there's no conflicts. So the conflicts are taken out. You know, I don't remember exactly, Todd, how many Monday holidays, you know, there's President's Day and Martin Luther King Day and Memorial Day on Mondays. You know, there's the standard holidays. Now we have Juneteenth. So I think there's 5 or 6
Right.
Monday holidays.
And there's Thursday holidays
Labor
too,
Day,
like
Memorial Day.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thursday Thanksgiving, sure, yeah.
So, I mean, I personally
How about
rather keep it on
Wednesday?
Monday. No, I can't do
Just throwing it out there.
We've got, what, five choices we can pick from. We probably don't want Tuesday since we've got the council, but.
Yeah.
So we just keep it on
So-
Monday.
Unless you did first and third Tuesday, you know.
So, all right. So at this point, there's no action really required on this.
But we'd like to adopt this one so we
We
can get
do
it
need to go
posted.
ahead and.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
right.
go ahead with that then. All right. So could we have a motion to approve this as it is printed now? And so that we can go ahead and get it published on the city website.
I move we approve this planning commission schedule as shown
All right.
on the screen.
Thank you, Councilman. Appreciate the
Second.
motion. And second, Mayor, thank you. Any other discussion? Not. Roll call.
Commissioner Vest,
Aye.
Commissioner Pryan,
Aye.
Commissioner Anderson,
Aye.
Commissioner Christie,
Aye.
Councilman Powell,
Aye.
Mayor Larkey,
Yes.
and Chairman McPherson.
Aye. So, thank you. So that way we can at least get this out on the website. All right. Brings us to our director's report. Director.
So I thought I would mention to the Planning Commission that last Saturday was kind of a milestone birthday for me. I hit my 70th birthday last Saturday, and it's kind of a date I was waiting to get to, and it kind of led me to a decision that I'd like to wind up my 38-year career as a city planner. So I've submitted my resignation to the acting city manager, and I'll be with the city through the end of March. And I'm also asking the city manager if I could continue in a consulting role to bring development applications on through the Planning Commission in transition while they look for a successor. So we're going to have continued discussions about that, but I hope that'll work out because the work I do at the Planning Commission I think is important, and it's important that I think that we have some continuity going forward. So I thought I would just mention that to you and thank you all for your time. And it's been a good 38 years. I did some arithmetic one day, and I think it's about 1,900 night meetings I've gone to. So that was sobering enough. So it kind of leads me to think I'm definitely making the right decision. So thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Mixed feelings. We're happy for you, but you have done a great job, Dave. It has been a pleasure to work. I think it would be in order, but I don't think it would make any difference. But I have just counted it a privilege to work with you
Well, that's very
and
kind. Thank
to
you.
see the work that you've done and the heart that you've had for Belton and the city. Means a lot to us.
There's been some great projects in the last 5 years.
There
so
has.
It's been good to work on.
There has.
When's the party for Broken Hatchet?
So our next meeting, the date would be to be determined according to our schedule we adopted, the 21st, but whether or not we have any
Well,
items.
there was an item on this agenda that we pulled due to some revisions that needed to be made. So I do think we'll have that meeting on March 21st.
Okay,
So,
great.
so
Okay. All right. Any other items
Make a motion, we adjourn.
All right, thank you. I was afraid we weren't going to get out of here tonight. But,
I'll second.
all right, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all. We will see you on the 21st.
Commissioner McDonough texted me to tell me to do that.
When I saw he wasn't here, I thought we were going to be here until
He let me know.
the next time. So, thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Tom, hand me that plat. This is all I'm ready to sign it right now.
Okay.
I won't have